Eddie found himself on a warmish afternoon enjoying an old National Geographic in the outhouse. As he flipped the pages, he was blissfully ignorant of the vengeance being planned by his little brother. Again, Jimmy needed to gather some equipment. He checked through the kitchen cabinets until he found a half-full can of Red Devil lighter fluid. Then he rummaged through the drawers. His hand fell on a trusty box of Ohio blue-tip matches, the kind you can strike anywhere. Armed and dangerous, he slipped out the back door of the house. He crept up the hill, by the old graveyard, and looked down on the peaceful outhouse. He snuck down to the old apple tree with the rope swing hanging from it and listened. He could hear Eddie humming a tune, and he imagined him flipping through the pages of an article on Spain, sun-drenched splendor. Without making a sound, Jimmy slipped up behind the outhouse where a loose board hung sideways. He popped the lid on the lighter fluid, and aiming carefully, he began to squirt a stream through the crack. It began to puddle up around the left side of the seat. When there was a good-sized pool, Jimmy directed the stream to the right. Then, when all was ready, he squirted the stream back and forth to make a connecting channel between the two puddles. He set the can down beside him and produced the box of matches. The match flared softly as he struck it, and without waiting, Jimmy flicked it through the gap in the boards. Ka-whoom! Brilliant flames leapt 6 feet in the air around Eddie's ears. He screamed like a little girl and flung the magazine to the floor. He was convinced that this must be one of those fatal methane gas explosions you hear about in outhouses. He had to get out, fast. Leaping to his feet, he headed out the door, but he'd forgotten something. His breeches were wrapped around his ankles. Helplessly, he felt himself falling, and wham! He landed face first in the mud. But he didn't have time to lick his wounds. There was an exploding outhouse behind him. Struggling to pull his pants up over his bare behind, he waddled toward the house, unaware of the barely stifled laughter coming from behind the old apple tree. Eddie learned a lesson that day, every bit as good as his Ivy League education. In the words of the apostle, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time he may exalt you."